Welcome to today's explainer. Look, if you or maybe a loved one are gearing up for a trip and just need a little extra help navigating the airport, you are in the exact right place. We're going to dive right into the source material today to completely demystify Lufthansa's wheelchair policies. Our goal? To figure out exactly what you need to request so you have a totally smooth, comfortable journey. Now, if you've ever tried to book a flight and actually requested wheelchair assistance, you've probably hit a wall of absolute frustration, staring at this drop-down menu filled with, frankly, an alphabet soup of acronyms. I mean, WCHR, WCSS, WCHC, it feels like you literally need a secret decoder ring just to ask for a bit of help, right? Well, I totally validate that frustration. It is super confusing. But don't worry, because today I promise we're going to translate all these baffling codes into a clear, highly actionable guide that's tailored exactly to what you need.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for the explainer today. First up, the alphabet soup of assistance. Second, decoding the 3 codes. Third, flying with your wheelchair. And fourth, booking and final tips.
Let's jump right into Section 1. The alphabet soup of assistance, understanding Lufthansa's free support.
So, the absolute most important takeaway here, right off the bat, is that this assistance is entirely free. Seriously, Lufthansa provides airport staff to help you from the very moment you check in all the way to boarding the aircraft, and then again after you land at your destination. The whole shebang. And the best part is, this service is highly tailored to your specific level of physical need, making sure you get the right support at the right times. All you really got to do is make sure you request it as early as humanly possible before your flight.
All right, let's move to Section 2 and see how this builds. Decoding the 3 codes, finding your perfect level of care.
Okay, first up at our decoder ring is WCHR. Now, a really great trick to remember this one is to associate that R at the end with ramp, or simply distance. This specific code is for passengers who can walk independently and have absolutely no problem climbing stairs. The only real issue is the sheer scale of modern airports. I mean, they're massive. So if you struggle with those incredibly long terminal walks just to get to your gate, this is exactly the code you want. Actually, take a second and self-assess right now. Ask yourself, can I handle a staircase on my own? If yes, but the idea of a half-mile trek through a terminal sounds totally exhausting, WCHR is absolutely for you.
Grounding this in a real-world scenario, WCHR is perfect if getting from that check-in desk to the gate is the difficult part. But, and this is key, once you finally arrive at the aircraft door, you have the physical ability to independently walk down the aisle of the plane to find and sit in your seat. You're essentially just asking to bypass the whole terminal marathon.
Now, we step up the level of care with WCS. I want you to really focus on the S here, which stands for steps. This is the critical next level of assistance. You choose this if you can walk down the aisle to your seat just fine, but you absolutely cannot climb stairs. You know, sometimes aircraft aren't actually connected to a nice flat jet bridge. They actually require you to walk up a flight of metal stairs right there on the tarmac to board. If climbing those stairs to get on or off the plane is no longer safely possible for you, WCS guarantees you're going to get the specific boarding assistance you need to bypass them.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that WCHS is actually the most common choice for elderly travelers, or really anyone with limited mobility who just needs that one specific piece of help. Think about it. They might be totally fine walking a few rows down the plane, but navigating steep, narrow metal aircraft steps while carrying luggage? Yeah, that is a major hazard. Requesting this code ensures you bypass that hazard completely.
And finally, we reach the absolute highest level of assistance, WCHC. Think of the C here for cabin. This is specifically meant for passengers who cannot walk independently at all. If you require full, uninterrupted help from the very moment you arrive at the check-in counter all the way through the winding airport, onto the actual plane and directly into your physical aircraft seat, WCHC is the code you must select.
Now, while WCHC provides incredible support, there is a really crucial safety limitation you've got to be aware of. So Lufthansa does provide a specialized onboard wheelchair to help you navigate those super narrow aisles to reach the aircraft lavatory during the flight. However, for safety and liability reasons, the cabin crew cannot physically lift or carry you. This means that if you need to transfer from your seat to that onboard wheelchair or onto the lavatory toilet, you must either be able to transfer yourself or you need to travel with a companion who can physically help you do that.
And this brilliantly illustrates all of that in your ultimate capability matrix. Honestly, I highly encourage you to hit pause right now or just take a quick screenshot.
Having this saved on your phone means there's going to be zero ambiguity the next time you book a flight. Just look at the columns, assess your walking ability, assess your stair ability, and boom, you instantly know exactly which code fits your specific situation.
Moving right along to Section 3, Flying with your wheelchair, navigating personal mobility aids. Now look at this number. This is honestly one of my favorite facts to share because it often comes as a massive surprise to travelers. Lufthansa actually allows you to bring up to 2 personal mobility aids completely free of charge. No way, right? It's true. You do not have to leave your essential equipment behind, and you definitely don't have to pay exorbitant oversized baggage fees just to maintain your independence. However, the rules definitely change depending on what kind of chair you're actually bringing. So let's contrast them. If you've got a standard folding wheelchair, the process is really a breeze. You can check it right into the cargo hold, or at a lot of airports, you can use it right up to the gate, and the staff will just load it onto the aircraft right before you step on. Electric wheelchairs, on the other hand, they require a lot more preparation. Because of strict aviation safety limits regarding lithium batteries, you absolutely must provide advance notice of the chair's dimensions, its weight, the specific battery type, and its capacity. You literally cannot just show up at the airport with an electric wheelchair unannounced. Which brings us nicely to our final section, Section 4, Booking and Final Tips, Securing Your Assistance. So the crucial point here is making sure your newly decoded request actually gets to the airline. There are 3 super easy avenues to formally request your wheelchair assistance. Number 1, and really this is the absolute best method, is to request it right during your initial flight booking process. Number 2, if you already booked your flight, no sweat. You can log in and add it later through the Manage Booking section on Lufthansa's website. And number 3, you can always just pick up the phone and contact Lufthansa customer service directly before your travel date and have an agent add it for you. Let me quickly run through a few final best practice tips we found in the source material, just to make sure you have absolutely all your bases covered. First off, always request this assistance as early as humanly possible. Second, when travel day finally arrives, get to the airport with plenty of extra time. Remember, assistance requires coordination, so you don't want to be rushed. Third, just like we discussed, provide those electric wheelchair details well in advance to clear all safety protocols. And finally, keep any requested medical or mobility documentation easily accessible in your carry-on bag, just in case they ask to see it.
I want to read this directly from our source material because honestly, it's pretty much the golden rule of accessible travel. The earlier you register your request, the smoother your airport experience will be. It's as simple as that. Preparation and early communication are your ultimate keys to a completely stress-free travel day. So please, don't leave this to the last minute.
And that brings us to the end of our journey today. Now that you've successfully decoded the alphabet soup and you know exactly the difference between a WCHR, WCHS, and a WCHC, I've got to ask, are you ready to confidently book your next stress-free flight? I really hope this explainer empowered you with the exact knowledge you need to take total control of your travel experience. Thank you so much for joining me to explore this topic, and hey, wherever you're headed next, I wish you a very safe and very comfortable journey.